Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Haley on the Go. I'm Haley, and I am so excited for today's guest, someone we all grew up watching on our TV screens. You might know her as Stephanie Tanner. Jodie Sweetin, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, absolutely. I'm really excited to be here.
I am so excited to be chatting with you because honestly, I'm obsessed with the way that you use your platform, your voice, like everything that you have done since Full House is so inspiring.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
No, it really is, and I feel like it is so rare or way too rare to see people do what you do and how you use your voice, seemingly fearlessly. So I'd love to ask you.
Well, that's not true, but I'm glad it's coming off that way.
Coming off so brave and proud in everything that you do, would love to start with the beginning and kind of ask you how you even started deciding to use your platform for activism.
I've always been this person. I remember being young, I don't know, 9, 10, and there was something going on down at SeaWorld, and there were a couple other like celebs that were going down, and I went down there and spoke and they were like, "Do you want to say something?" And I was like, "Sure." So I spoke at my first, protest for animal rights or whatever. I was like that. 9 or 10. So, it's just kind of inherent in who I am. I would do it even if I didn't have a platform. It just so happens that more people see it. But, I started getting into it more, obviously around 2020. That was, where a lot of us, I think, came forward a little bit more, maybe who had been in sort of the charity activist space. And, I'd done a lot of charity stuff, and I just like giving of my time. But as far as activist stuff, I think starting in like 2016, with that election, things started getting a little more vital to be things that needed to be addressed. And so I felt like, okay, this is my time. And, throughout Fuller House, I spoke up. I don't think it was any secret who I am and what I'm for. But I during that time was doing the show and was kind of like, okay, let's, But then obviously come the pandemic, we all had a lot of time on our hands, and I probably spent too much of it on the internet in those first few months.
We all did. The doom scrolling was so bad.
The doom scrolling, like things that I said, I'm like, what were you doing? Stop. Yeah. You need to settle down and go outside. But you couldn't. Yeah, I just have always been, I've drawn to the fight, I guess, to, make things fair and just and equal, and to support people who, maybe don't have a platform of a couple million people.
Yeah.
And, I just think because I have that, it's like almost a requirement that I go and I use that for things that I believe in.
I love that you said that way. I think very few people actually view it as a requirement. So it's really cool. You also started by doing a lot of work around issues that were close to your heart or personally experienced for you, whether it's like your work advocating for recovery and addiction resources or in the foster care system, which is really, really cool. And I think a great way that people can kind of enter into this space.
Yeah.
How has that been for you?
I recently started working with Foster Love, which was a gala that I just hosted. And, we raised an incredible amount of money that night. And they are a nationwide program that works with foster youth, basically trying to bring some love and dignity and something special to their lives. They do college scholarships, and they have the Sweet Case program where they give kids in foster care small suitcases because oftentimes they're just carrying their stuff around in a trash bag. And so just that little bit of dignity, again, can be what a kid really needs to just feel like they are important. And yeah, I've done a lot of work in the recovery space, in between sort of in my quote unquote regular job life. I worked in recovery. I loved it. It was insane. But it was really rewarding in a lot of ways. And I don't know. I have, in some ways, some of my secrets were told for me. And so it was kind of like, okay, well, I can either hide from it or I can do something with it. And, when I went to treatment the first time, like it came out not of my own volition. Somebody sold the
Sorry
story.
that happened.
It's people are unfortunately very self-serving.
Yeah.
But whatever. In the end, it worked out really well for me because it kind of, kicked me off the ledge of like, all right, just say it. And it was terrifying, but in saying it, it has changed the trajectory of my life, and also, I've been able to reach so many people through what I've talked about.
Yeah.
That means the world to me. Just being able to reach like one person who said, I heard something that you said and it changed me. Like that's a gift. I'm good.
No, you changed someone's life.
Yeah, it means a lot.
As someone who has multiple family members who struggled with addiction, I think them hearing from other people has always been so amazing. And it's that way for any issue, that if anyone kind of speaks up, tells their story, it like destigmatizes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And mental health has been such an important thing for me to destigmatize. I suffer from all manner of things. I'm a fun little box of ADHD, some PTSD. I got a few other letters in there, but I really have just been pushing for the discussions around mental health. And, when I wrote my book in 2009, Unsweetened, that was a big impetus for it, was like, okay, I have this opportunity to talk about addiction and my adoption and, all of these things that sort of had a stigma attached to them around discussing them publicly. And in a way, it gave me the most freedom because I was like, well, okay, it's all out there now. Like nothing, I didn't die. Nothing, it didn't like crumble me, it was maybe difficult or hard, but like I made it through. And that resilience is something that I really think is important to share too.
It's really brave of you to model it. I have a friend who says that we should put our letters behind our name, like people who have like their masters and their doctors and wear them proudly and be like, oh yeah, I am Haley Lickstein, OCD. Like,
I have my earrings that my friend bought me that are big, gigantic neon green hearts that say ADHD.
Oh wait, I love that.
Yeah.
No, ADHD's a superpower.
In a lot of ways, I am great at some things. I am great at spontaneous thinking. I'm great at sort of flying by the seat of my pants. I am horrible at preparing things, remembering dates.
That's crazy for me because as an actress,
I have my manager who's amazing. Like I've learned that the areas that maybe you're not the best in, there's no shame in being like, hey, this isn't my jam. I'm real bad at this, but you're better. So I'll take this part and you take that part. And, I just built a really great team around me. So
I love that. Everyone needs a team to lean on.
Yeah. And I've an awesome, like all-female team.
Oh, so, amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I have a few guys in there for, lawyer and things like that. But it's really like a really tight female team that I've leaned on for like the last 10, 12 years. So
that's amazing. And I think kind of a good transition in sort of advocating for women is you mentioned your advocacy journey sort of really kicked off in 2016 and then 2020. And around that time was sort of when the abortion rights battle was like full steam ahead.
Right.
And the overturning of Roe in 2020 too, which was sort of an impetus for me. I had just kind of gotten out of college and I was always in the political space. Was like, I need to start really just going during the overturning of Roe. And I know you had a really big moment that kind of caught social media or the news by storm at that time as you were out protesting for abortion rights after the overturning of Roe and got thrown, shoved, tapped by LAPD to the ground.
Depends on what news station you watch it on, how they describe it.
100%. I watched the video. I would say it was a pretty good little push there by LAPD to the ground.
It was definitely, It was more of a fling because they got my backpack and just sort of, But I was like, I mean, that's the risk I'm willing to take.
What was going through your mind when that happened and like you knew it was going to probably be sent all over?
I actually didn't know it was going to be sent all over. My friend that captured that bit of video, my friend Michael Audet, I've known him since 2020 and he's an incredible photographer, done a lot of great stuff. And he was there and, helped get me up off the ground. And then the next day he was like, "Hey, do you mind if I send this to?" I forget who he sent it to originally, and I was like, "I mean, sure, okay." Like I wasn't like, "Yeah, this needs to go out." I was like, "I mean, all right." I didn't think it would be that big of a deal, and then it like went everywhere, and I actually felt really weird about it because everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And I was, I when I in the activism space, I realized that I come from a place of a lot of privilege in a lot of ways, and so I never want to
Like censor
use that
yourself.
to like outshine people who are out there every single day doing the work every single day. I mean, I try, I do what I can, but I can't be, out there every day. And I know some people who are 24-hour sit-in protests and stuff. And and also, the dynamic of it getting a lot of attention because I am a white woman compared to the attention that it would get, would it have been most likely someone of color. And so, I just didn't want it to be like, I need to talk about this and my victim, it was more like, great, if people are going to use this video of me getting tossed to the ground as a reason to bring this up, let's go for it. Women are losing their rights, and what you are seeing here is only the beginning. And so that was, if anything, I think, correct.
Yeah.
I think
And that's
it was
kind of
really,
that dynamic is why I wanted to bring it up because, it did go everywhere and there's an element to the fact that people know who you are and you are a white woman, that video went everywhere. But especially now, today in 2025, we're not seeing, but we're hearing more stories of police brutality and ICE and the National Guard than ever. Yeah. But those stories aren't actually being amplified by like the media.
Right.
And so
I've seen a lot of it, firsthand. And it's all, I mean, that's always the case, right? You see a lot of things firsthand that don't get reported, or things that are being reported that you're like, that's not a thing that's happening. You know what I mean? So it's definitely it's still an issue and becoming even more of an issue because I think we're seeing a lot of the oversight and a lot of the sort of guardrails of things that, you're not supposed to do being removed or being overlooked and not paid attention to. So
yeah. So the ability to have a video where people could see it and actually see it unfold, I think is really powerful. But before we got into that, you mentioned that was a risk you were willing to take.
Yeah.
Why is that was so important to you? Is so important to you? I mean, it's just getting worse and worse and scarier and scarier.
Yeah, oh God, it's terrifying. Like that, it's at that moment, when Dobbs got overturned, this had been something that, again, we knew had been coming for a very long time. This has been something that, conservatives have been working on for decades and pushing through. And so knowing once it happened, that the lives of women across the country were automatically changed forever. And I have two daughters who are now 17 and 15. And the thought that the trajectory of their lives could be completely different based on if they lived one state over in a red state that had prevented reproductive rights and they got pregnant and didn't want to have the baby, or they got pregnant and there was an ectopic, whatever reason,
absolutely
doesn't matter. The fact that we now live in a country where your location dictates the direction that your life could go and that the life of your children could go is just, it was unimaginable to me. And so I was like, we're not Handmaid's Tale in this, you know what I mean? We're going down. And it was funny because I always laugh and my friends are like, oh, we're heading toward the Handmaid's Tale. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'll be June. So
well, we'd be grateful if you'd be June. That's so funny. But no, it's crazy. And the ramifications have been insane because you talk about, your ability to get care being different by the state you live in. But now that has impacted so much more than just women. We're seeing full health clinics closed down because doctors don't want to be where they're being negated as to what kind of care they can give.
Right. And in particular, we're losing a lot of rural health care and healthcare outside of cities, which a lot of times, these rural healthcare centers, there's one in, a 50, 100-mile radius. That is where everyone in that area gets their healthcare, not just reproductive healthcare, but healthcare in general. And so now we are removing healthcare options from everyone. They started with just women. And, of course, us women were like, it's going to affect all of you guys.
Yes.
And nobody made
No one ever listens
No one
to
ever
us.
listens. It's like Cassandra. But yeah, it definitely, I think now we're seeing, Medicare cuts, all of these budget cuts, funding cuts, all of these things are piling on. And, it always starts with women, the trans community, the LGBTQ community, the immigrant community. You start picking off the ones that you can get to and removing rights, just pulling little strings out here and there. And, eventually the whole sweater falls apart. And we're like at a crop top right now with the strings that we pulled.
We're all hands on deck. It's like the opening scene of Handmaid's Tale.
It is. And the thing is, I think Americans aren't, we are not, this is weird for us. We thought democracy kind of ran itself and the warning that it doesn't, and it is a very tender, fragile thing that we have managed to last for 250 years with all of its faults is pretty incredible. And, I think we're seeing right now that it doesn't just have to be that way. It can go away.
100%. We have the power to fight it back.
Yeah.
Something I learned this last week that kept me up at night, honestly, is that for
something else.
I know. I'm like, please stop sending me these facts. Is that for the first time in a century, the world has more autocracies right now than democracies.
Yes.
And it's just so scary to see the way that everything's kind of echoing from America around the world.
Throughout human history, humans have been notoriously terrible at governing themselves. The reason that there over time have been few democracies is because when you tell everyone that they have an opinion, it gets real wild. And it's hard to figure out. And, there are a lot of people in the world, there are a lot of Americans here, I think, that we're finding who just want someone to tell them what to do and how to think. And it's just easier that way. Yeah. And they think it's not, the bad stuff isn't going to come from me. I just want someone to hate the people I hate and take care of stuff, And
I do think a lot of people don't even recognize, because they want people to tell them where they're getting the information or what information to believe or what to say or what to think, that they're getting the information from a bad actor. Like so many people, I really don't think it's necessarily bad intent. They've just been drinking the Kool-Aid. Right. It's being given to them with no warning labels.
And with AI now, like,
oh my gosh.
I just keep going, oh no, it's worse. It's worse. And that is really scary, because when you live in a world where everyone can't agree on just the basics of like what we are all seeing,
it's so scary.
Then you're kind of operating from a place where everyone's just making up their own truth.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I consider myself to be pretty media literate, and I have lately had to look up so many photos and been like, is this real? Is this video real? And the amount of AI coming out around of it is crazy.
It's crazy. And like, I have watched some of the AI that is, I think it was the Sora 2 stuff that came out that recreated a sitcom. Crazy. Like 5 minutes of a full sitcom. And my friend was showing it to me, and I said, I've been in this business my whole life. And if you would have shown that to me and not said it was AI, I wouldn't have picked up on it.
I've seen 40 different.
Terrifying. And this, whatever her name is, AI actress, I'd punch her in the face if she had a face to actually do it too.
No,
it's not her fault. But like, this is her fault. She's a computer. It's not even a thing. But like, this is. People have to pay attention. We are easily led astray, and especially when you're led by basically people who are mining you for information and attention, then they'll just say whatever they want to keep you engulfed in it all.
100%. My news feed this past week has been 100 different people who have been Selena Gomez's bridesmaid, all in matching dresses.
Oh my God.
Everyone from like Rihanna and Beyonce being her bridesmaid. Like crazy.
Right. Just, I say have them all. You know what I mean? Like, just have a huge wedding party.
These are not real.
Yeah, not real. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing now, is like anything that happens, you can just be like, that's not, it's AI.
Exactly.
It's AI.
Or choose to believe it
Right.
if it supports
that's not
your
me,
argument.
or that you like, yeah. It's going to get real weird.
Real bad, especially when I think about elections. It's so scary.
It's very scary. And we've already seen, I mean, we saw, I forget what country it was, but Facebook had, I mean, Facebook has been used to throw elections in lots of countries around the world, and has been used for, nefarious reasons, not necessarily from anyone at Facebook, but it's not hard to take social media and use it how you want it.
So I love to think a little bit about hope, because
we have to have some,
otherwise
what are we doing?
Right. And also, I truly believe that no one would do this work and take as much time as you do in things if we don't have a little hope.
It's true. Even when we're out there and like protesting and whatever, like there are moments of joy, and there are moments and that you look around and you go, this is what we're fighting for. The laughter, the joy, the connection, the humanity, like this is it. And if you forget to have those moments, you do feel like it's all for nothing. And you feel like you're just kind of doing the Sisyphean task of dragging boulders uphill and never making any progress, but having the hope that there are people who want to change things and do things differently, it makes you feel a little bit less alone.
You talk about the joy of protest occasionally, which I love. I feel like the community element feels amazing. This year, you spoke at 50501 in LA, which a lot of people might know as hands-off protest. What was the environment like? How did it feel? Because that was massive. It was a great big community gathering.
It was like 50,000 people.
It's crazy.
It was crazy. I didn't know. I mean, again, a friend of mine was the MC of the event, my friend Anthony, and he hit me up on Instagram, was like, hey, do you want to come speak? And I was like, okay. I didn't really prepare anything. I didn't, because every protest is so different. It's like you got to really pick up on the vibe of read the room, know? And so I didn't have anything prepared, but it was such an incredible moment of people joining together. And I know we're still having these moments, and everyone's getting tired, but it's like we have to keep doing this. We have to keep showing up, even if it's once a month that everybody gets out, like, okay, and then do some work in between, But the 5501 protest was incredible. It was probably the largest crowd I've spoken to so far.
It's like a football stadium.
Yeah, it was wild. I was like, oh, maybe I should have written something down on a note card.
I'm sure you were.
No, it was
amazing.
great. I felt really great about it, and I was like, oh. Okay, I don't know who just said all those things. I was coming off stage, but
I think it's helpful for people to hear that it's fun, because
it is.
It can feel really daunting when you see the gatherings online, if that's not been your jam or the way that you've participated before, to think about attending something.
Yeah, I think, and again, media reports, depending on who you're listening to and where you're getting your media from, portray protests as very different things. Are there sometimes pockets of people, breaking stuff and doing? Yeah, there's always like a small segment of people who you're like, no, you're doing your thing. It's about ignoring those people and being like, okay, we hear you, you're angry, you're upset, but like, let's keep moving, you know? And the joy. I mean, I've had some wonderful times out there with some like-minded people who are really special and really important and really doing a lot more work than myself, and, getting a lot less credit for it.
The people on the ground are really, truly incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. What outside of protests are giving you some hope?
Well, I'm also, I do a lot of work, sort of politically and charity-wise outside of just being in the streets.
Yes.
But I am on the advisory board for the Grassroots Dems HQ here in Los Angeles,
awesome.
Which is, it's kind of an offshoot of the Democrats, but it is, we have a phone banking. We've worked on the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, things like that. I'm also on the board of Vote Mamas.
Oh my gosh,
Vote Mama.
I love them.
And I'm on the celeb board with them. I actually have a call with Luba tomorrow.
Amazing.
But yeah, I try to be in a lot of places. I have a quote unquote squad that we meet once a month and try and figure out what we can do like in
That's
our home
great.
area. And also just kind of support of like, oh my God, the world's on fire. Like, make me laugh and tell me that it's going to be okay and we're going to like hold hands through this, you know?
You need community. Community is so important.
Community is vital. Community is vital. And, mutual aid stuff. I mean, I take and donate a lot of stuff to whatever actions are going on.
That's great.
Wagons of, stacks of water, order food for people, whatever, try to contribute to bail funds, whatever I can. And, sometimes maybe I don't have the finances to do what I want. So I show up in other ways. And I always remind people that that's important, that there are many different avenues and lanes in the world of activism. And, it doesn't, if you can't get out in the streets, you can phone bank. If you, can't donate something, you can volunteer.
Absolutely.
There's always ways that depending on your situation, you can figure out how to do something, and I think we're finding out that, community and mutual aid is going to be the thing that is saving us.
100%. And I always am trying to talk to people about the fact that economic resistance is not plausible for everyone, or an economic boycott.
Exactly. Right. You can't boycott everything.
Yeah.
You can't strike.
Going to a protest might not be safe for everybody.
Exactly.
But there are so many ways that people can get involved that are comfortable, like from your own home. You can text.
Oh, and you can make signs. Yeah. I mean, protests, we're always like, we need signs. We need this.
So much stuff to do.
There's literally, there's so many avenues. Don't be intimidated and think that it only looks like being out in the streets and protesting. It does not. There's so much work to do and so much work that can be done across the board at any level of any sort of age, physical ability, like whatever, economic advantage, whatever you can work with, there is a way to help your fellow humans.
For me, where I get hope is a lot of what I do is I talk to young creators or influencers or people who have a platform and are reaching younger people in a lot of different niches, and try to encourage them to talk about whatever it is that they care about. But I get hit with a lot of resistance, which makes a lot of sense, is that it's super taboo. They don't want to lose followers. They don't want to lose opportunity.
Right.
And you have been doing this since you were really young, talking about the things that matter to you. Do you feel like you have lost opportunity because of that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know it, and I know it before I open my mouth, and it is a calculated decision that I always make, that I would much rather lay my head on a pillow at night that doesn't have, $800 sheets on it, but I can lay my head down on it and feel that I did the right thing for myself and that I had integrity. And it is hard. I mean, I looked at my followers the other day. I've probably lost over 1 million.
Oh, wow.
And I'm okay with that. Because I go, well, you weren't the people anyway. You weren't the audience.
They're not your community.
They're not my community. They're obviously who I am. You are not a fan of what I believe in. What might be a fan of a show or a thing, but that might not be a fan of me personally. So that's what happens. And I get it that, people are so, we're worried about making money, and we're worried about how it comes off, and we're worried about, losing followers and losing attention. And I guess at this point, like you said, I've done it my whole life. I'm 43. I just don't care anymore.
No, but
I care. I care so much that I don't care any, you know what I mean?
It's really great.
Yeah. I just have had to go, you know what? What is really, truly important to me, and go for that. And then there are times that I haven't gone for something or haven't spoken out on something because I go, this is not an area that I'm versed in, or this is not this is something that nobody is winning. And you know what I mean? There are those things where it's just like, I'm going to do, again, pick a different lane of activism, and it might not be putting that everything out there, but I'm doing work on the side.
And I think that that's good advice because you don't want to be someone who misinforms either. And so
No,
it's like
I definitely
impossible
don't.
for us to be experts on everything
Right.
and talk about everything, but you can talk about something.
Right. You know, find something that you really care about. We don't need to be experts on every single world topic and tragedy that comes along. And I think we need to remind ourselves that it is okay to take a step back sometimes. I have done it, you know, a lot, probably the last 6 months, where I'm like, I think I need an internet break or just a screen break in general, because I go back and forth from like news to Instagram to message it, you know, like just back and forth. And sometimes I'm like, I don't.
And we have a long road. Good. We have a long road. We have 3 more years. We all have to take care of ourselves.
Well, we got a lot. We have a lot going on, and it's going to be a lot longer than 3 years, I think. But this is the long game. This is, you know, somebody told me an analogy once that the reason that protest communities and activist communities can keep going for such a long time is because they're like choirs, and, you know, a choir can hold a note forever because not everyone takes a breath at the same time. So
wait, that's so beautiful.
You know, part of the community can continue singing while you catch your breath, and then you breathe and come back, and then they can catch their, you know, it's a cycle. It's not, you can't be in this 100% of the time. You will burn out no matter how much you love it and are dedicated. Like it will burn you out, and it's okay to take care of yourself in this process, because otherwise you got nothing to give.
Sustain resistance, takes community.
That exactly.
Was so beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to ask you some more lighthearted questions. And I think that was such a beautiful note to kind of transition on. Is you talk about unplugging. What's your favorite way to sort of take a break, take a step back? I
am a huge book nerd. I love reading. And I also love building Legos.
Oh, that's so fun.
So, I'm currently working on my Nightmare Before Christmas.
So
little
fun.
Sets. But yeah, I love to read. I'm not a big TV watcher, although I will watch weird documentaries or like true crime stuff. Yeah.
Are you reading anything good?
Am I what?
Reading anything good?
I am. So I went to the UK with my mom recently for 2 weeks. And while we were traveling about, we went to one place called Surrey Castle. And it was the home of Catherine Parr, the last wife of Henry VIII. Anyway, there's a whole book series on each of the wives of Henry VIII written by this woman who is one of the top historians on that topic. So, and she writes really well. So it's all historical fiction, like of each wife.
So
and it's just really fascinating.
I love that genre.
Because it's full on Game of Thrones. Everyone's killing each other. Everyone's sleeping together. It's wild. And I'm
it's a good break.
It's a great break. It is, you know, it's a great break to be like, oh, look at this mess 500 years ago, you know? But no, I love it. I have my little hammock in the backyard, and I sit and read, and it's my hammock time. Yeah.
Amazing. How do you get your news? Is there a podcast you really like?
I listen to The Daily. New York Times The Daily. Love, because it's just kind of like, okay, brief, I can get in and out. I love Behind the Bastards.
Okay.
And It Could Happen Here. I usually listen to, it's hosted by Robert Evans, and it usually there's also other hosts that are there hosting other shows during the week, but they do like an end of the week recap that's like 3 hours, and it's basically all of the It Could Happen Here news things, and
that's
they usually dive pretty deep into one particular topic in kind of each segment. So that's something in the news.
That's great. I have to check that one out. Okay. It is all the rave right now. You are on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
What is one thing about Dancing with the Stars that people do not know?
Oh, that it is, oh my goodness, one thing that they don't know.
Or about being on it.
It was one of the hardest things I had ever done. Like the physicality of it, it's not just dancing. Like you go from like zero to being a full athlete overnight. And there's a lot of physio tape There's a lot of you're taping yourself back together, and you're also really spray tanned.
Okay.
So then when you take the tape off, you have the strangest patterns all over your body of weird, and then you get just another layer of spray tan over it and body makeup and all. It's a lot of body makeup. There's a lot. Yeah.
Did you get to pick your costumes?
So they design the costume department there is incredible. They are some of the top like costumers, and everything is handmade.
Oh wow!
All of the sequins are like hand sewn on there.
Oh my gosh!
The work that they're doing is unreal. Going over to the costuming like trailers was always the best part because they had some of the like older costumes that were still in there that you look at, but it was just tables and work tables and things of people frantically creating like masterpieces.
It's incredible. And they do it so fast. The turnover is crazy.
So fast. And they would come and watch your dance so that they kind of knew what your movements were. So it was like if, you were doing one particular thing, okay, we're not going to put you in a long skirt or whatever. But also the dances have very particular outfits that you have to wear, styles. And you don't actually get to dance in them until the day of the show.
Oh my gosh.
For dress rehearsal. And you oftentimes between dress rehearsal and tape that night, within a couple hours, dresses and things are completely redone because you just find,
you can't do
I can't do this with a strap that goes here, whatever it is. And they just redo,
it's
an
incredible.
entire costume. It really is.
Amazing team.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I cannot have you on without asking about Full House. I feel
Of course.
It is the go-to. So I was wondering what your like favorite on-set memory is. You kind of grew up on that set.
I did. I really did. And it's hard to pick one like memory because it's like all of these sort of family memories all mixed together. But, whenever we got to travel, that was always amazing. And the fact that I got to travel with this group of people, this family, and do things with them when I was 5. And then, later on, we did Fuller and we traveled to Japan and we traveled to, all these places. Like, getting to do that again was just incredible. And, we were on the same soundstage that we left on and stuff. But it was a lot of laughs. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how ridiculous Bob and Dave were. Just absolutely ridiculous. And in the best way. And I just have a lot of memories of laughter and a lot of hugs and a lot of just warm, like, family moments of all of us just hanging out.
That's amazing.
Sitting around. Yeah.
Well, I think Stephanie kind of made us all laugh I think the funniest character.
Thank you. I think that Steph had the most sass. I liked her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you think she gave you a little spunk that you brought into life?
It's funny. I never quite know where Steph ends and I begin, or vice versa. I think in some ways the character had, the sass and stuff in like the pilot. And then Jeff told me, he said, once we saw what you did with it, then and who you were as a kid, we were able to take that and sort of shape it into Steph. And, and then I was kind of a little sassy, super smart, like kid. And like not obnoxious, but just like, I was bright and I was funny, and that all got to be incorporated into Steph. The dancing, that was a personal thing that I did. And so they were like, well, let's make Steph a dancer,
Yes.
Steph and I have a lot in common. I mean, like I said, I don't really know kind of how to differentiate sometimes, other than the fact that, she has a gigantic family and I do not.
She was definitely the like stereotypical middle child.
Oh,
yes.
I mean, this poor kid. Like, we've been rewatching Full House on Howard Tannerito's, which is the Full House Rewatch podcast that Andrea Barber and I do. And we just laugh because we're like, man, Steph just getting pushed over, didn't get nothing. Yeah, it was funny, to go back and really see it.
No, I love it. And it was such a beautiful thing to get to watch and I feel like all of us in our living room felt like we were a part of it, but really grateful for whatever part of Stephanie it gave to you or vice versa. That led you to be the activist and advocate you are today and the way you continue to use your voice. So
thank you. Yeah, going back and watching those old episodes, I see Steph too. She stood up for the underdog. She stood up for Walter. She worried about her friend who was being abused. She, she just didn't take anybody's crap. And I think Steph would probably be doing exactly what I'm doing out there in the world, just doing it in San Francisco.
I love that. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for talking with us today.
Yeah,
Thanks for being here.